Thank you. Good evening. I'm Ken Garcia. I'm the board president of the Oberlin Heritage Center. It's my pleasure to welcome you to OHC's annual meeting. Thank you for coming. We're delighted to have 150 registered guests here tonight. And I'll be making a few welcome remarks as we settle in. So thank you. The agenda for the evening is on the front of your printed program. The Treasurer's report is in there for your review, and copies of last year's minutes are also on your tables. You will also find in your programs one page that has a meeting evaluation on one side and a ballot on the other. Please vote to name our new electric lawnmower. Liz, do you have that lawnmower yet? Liz, do you have? The check has been written. You can leave your completed forms on the table at the end of the night. So let's see some of the ways you've connected to the Heritage Center with an audience survey. Please raise your hand if you fit in any of the following categories. Trustee of OHC. Trustee of our two subsidiary boards, Vineland and OHC Properties. Honorary trustees and former trustees. What are you? Members of OHC, and if you're not a member, please consider joining. Endowed Life members. OHC staff, volunteers, and student interns. OHC annual meeting first timers. Facebook or Instagram fans of OHC. I'm sorry, I don't do the ones. We also have some guests we'd like to recognize tonight. Give a wave when you're named. Barb Piscopo of the Lorraine Historical Society. Tanya Rosen-Jones and Joanna Mercado of the Oberlin Business Partnership. Oberlin City Council members Ray English, Ebony Johnson, and Kristen Peterson. Farah Mika, among many things, President of the Oberlin City School Board of Education, and Joanne Stiegel, also on the board of the Education. Kurt Russell, Oberlin High School educator and 2022 National Teacher of the Year. Brandon County of the Bill Long Foundation. Barbara Thomas, former CEO of Kendall at Oberlin. Andrea Gerstein, now at the Cleveland Museum of Art. Cindy Kushner and Amy Sigmania of Lorain County Community College. Carol Lasser and Gary Kornblatt of the Wilson Bruce Evans Home Historical Society. Gavin Tritt of Oberlin Chauncey. And also our community award winners and their guests whom we will honor later this evening. Thank you to all for joining us tonight, and apologies for anybody that I missed. We know everybody here tonight devotes their time to many community initiatives. We are also delighted to welcome Ned and Gail Hubbard and family member Jeff Cheshire here tonight. Ned and the Oberlin Heritage Center awards the Hubbard Prize every year to a student or students from Lorain County who present an outstanding project. This is National History Day. This year's Hubbard Prize recipient is Nadege Mellinger from Christian Community School in Grafton for her documentary about Nicholas Hinton and his efforts to rescue Jewish children during World War II. And then, after that, out on the table after the lobby, we're going to take a look at it. Endowed Life members Ned and Gail Hubbard have now been supporting this award for 12 years. Thank you and congratulations to all our young historians who participate in this year's National History Day competition. Be sure to buy tickets for the 50/50 raffle, and if you haven't done so already, leave it on the, and if you are going to leave the event early, make sure you write your name on the ticket in case you win. So you'll be properly rewarded. So enjoy your dinner, and we'll be back later for the annual meeting and the speaker for tonight's program. Thank you again for joining us this evening. Please continue to enjoy the food and company. We're going to continue on with the annual business meeting. Actually, before we do that, we have a special announcement. First of all, if you plan on leaving the ballroom, please use the back doors. That's just a public service announcement. We've asked Gail Wood, the former chair of the Development Committee and also former president of OAC Board, to join me in making a special announcement before we get to the business meeting.
Hi, everybody. So, as the former longtime chair of the Oberlin Heritage Center Development Committee, I'm honored to have been invited here tonight to make a special announcement. The Pat Murphy Endowment for Heritage Preservation was established in May 2015 by the OHC Board of Trustees. Our goal is to honor our decades-long executive director, Pat Murphy, on her retirement by establishing an endowment in her name, the income of which would enable us to preserve and maintain our historic buildings, as well as care for and manage our collections, present and future. At that time, Pat had a long list of projects that needed attention and a budget that was stretched to its limits. Our very ambitious goal was to raise $1 million so that approximately $50,000 per year would be generated to help cover our most pressing maintenance and preservation needs. From major structural projects to the day-to-day but critical care of the collections. The response overwhelmed us. OHC has a very loyal and very generous supporters. With a kickstart from a bequest from the Jean F. White estate and only 8 weeks of our behind-the-scenes approach, we had donations and pledges totaling 15% of our goal, and we reached 25% of our goal after only 6 months. In April 2017, we were a third of the way and announced the opening of the public campaign. In April 2019, and some of you were here at the annual meeting that year, we were able to celebrate that donations, pledges, and market conditions had carried the fund to over $550,000, over halfway to the goal. Many of you made what we called stretch donations along the way, becoming endowed life members, our ELMs, or increasing to one of the higher ELM levels. When this endowment was inaugurated, we had 80 ELMs, singles or couples. In the 10 years since this fund began, the number has doubled. We currently have 103 ELMs and 64 legacy ELMs, supporters whose contributions live on. Well, yes, this endowment made a difference for OHC. In 2017, the newly established fund provided just under $9,000 in funding. But in 2024, we're able to use just under $41,000 for preservation. OHC has benefited from the use of just under $175,000 for preservation projects since the fund's inception. We were hoping Pat Murphy could join us tonight, but she is between running 2 marathons. Those of you who knew Pat knew that was her passion. She's running, or has run, one in New Jersey and one in Kansas. And she currently has a goal of completing the race in all 50 states. That's a lot of miles. So in January of this year, we were only $18,000 from reaching that ambitious $1 million goal. And once again, our generous supporters came through. So get your noise makers ready. One's in my pocket. I am happy to announce that the $1 million goal has been met. So make some noise. Murphy's legacy and invested in the future of OHC by donating to this endowment fund at any point over the last decade. Please stand up. It's a lot of you. Oh, come on. It's probably half of the people here. You're endowed like members, or you contributed 10 or 20 or 50 or 100 or $1,000. All right, let's get a little more noise in your honor. Executive Director Liz Schultz, her staff, and the Oberlin Heritage Board will continue to use the earnings from this fund to preserve and share our community's history. So in their honor, let's applaud, and we can use our noisemakers once more. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Gail, and the Development Committee, chaired by Pablo Mitchell, Stephanie Hobbs, and the OHC staff. I have another announcement, so I'm going to ask Liz to come forward, please. You may have seen in the program that Liz won a special award this past just 2 days ago. March 30th, not a week ago. It is my great honor to acknowledge that Liz Schultz was selected as the 2024 Ohio Museum Association Professional of the Year. The nomination came from the OHC staff, which shows the respect, admiration, and support that Liz has within this organization. Liz is an outstanding professional who's dedicated to the success of OHC. She always shows compassion and respect for staff, volunteers, trustees, and community members. Board members are often amazed at the vast number of programs and projects that the OHC staff accomplishes each year. And this is a testament to her leadership, her commitment to the organization and the community, and the care that she takes to ensure that Oberlin's history is preserved and shared with all of us. And please join me again in congratulating her. Now on to the business meeting. As board president, I now call to order the great annual membership meeting with all current OHC members 24th annual meeting. Is there a motion from a member of the Heritage Center to approve the minutes? Name, please. Brian. Brian. Second. I can't second, so. Kathy Jaffe, thank you. All in favor? Say aye. Opposed? Thank you, the motion passes. Minutes are approved. Approval of the treasurer's report. Also in your program on page 9 is a copy of the 2024 financial cash flow summary and the treasurer's report. Once again, I need a motion from the members of the Heritage Center to accept the treasurer's report. Gail, thank you. Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you, the motion passes. As always, Treasurer Joel Kim, Executive Director Lee Schultz, and I are happy to discuss the financial state of the organization. Our audits in the 90s for the previous years can always be found on our website. And we also like to thank Joel and the Finance Committee for all the work that they've done, and also Bethany and Alex in support of all that's done for the financial report that's been here. I'm also going to be conducting the elections tonight because the person who was asked to do so was not able to be here. So on to the Oberlin Heritage Center elections for this year. We are saddened to say goodbye to several wonderful trustees this year, but we are also delighted to welcome several new community members and volunteers to the board. A slate of officers and trustees printed in your program is recommended by the board by the governance committee chaired by Mary Worthington and comprised of members Cheryl Bryce, Gene Simon, Connie Schubert, and ex officios myself and Liz Schultz. The board approved the slate at the February board meeting, the 5th board meeting, for presentation to the membership here tonight for your vote. Profiles of the new trustees are included in your program. Will each person please stand at your table or wave as I call your name? The following are proposed for election to a 3-year term as new trustees. Helen Broadwell, Pablo Mitchell, Jessica Reese. The following are proposed for re-election to a 3-year term as trustees. Rachel McCrae and Mary Worthington. The following are proposed for re-election to a 2-year terms as officers. Amy Chung as second vice president, Elizabeth Elrod as secretary, Ken Grossi as president, and Joel Kim as treasurer. This slate comes as a motion that has been made and seconded by the Board of Trustees. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, the motion carries. Congratulations and thank you to our new continuing trustees and officers. In February, the Board of Trustees voted to confer honorary trustee status on 2 board members who are terming off. Julie Min. Julie, you stand. Julie Min has served on the board from 2019 to 2025, in which she served as on the Development, DEAI, and Oral History Committees. We are thrilled that Julie will be continuing as the chair of the Oral History Committee and coordinating the many hardworking volunteers to archive and grow that amazing collection of community history. Thank you so much, Julie. And Liz is going to bring you your certificate. Thank you. The board also conferred honorary trustee status to Carl Jacobson, who has been a board member from 2019 to tonight and served on the Development Committee, the EDAI, Oral History, New Space Committees, some of which he has volunteered into serving. Carl is also a wonderful tour guide and community ambassador for the Heritage Center. Carl is not able to be here this evening, but we thank him for his years of dedicated and thoughtful service. Thanks also to our other trustees who served the last year and who are continuing their service, in addition to myself. You might wave as I call your name. Cheryl Bryce, Lori Epahara Flood, Kathy Jaffe, Eva McFarland, Connie Schubert, Jean Simon, Father Brian Gilbert, and George Wright. We also thank you. We also thank Travis Jennings for his time on the board, although his duties called him away from service earlier this year. Thank you also to the members of our two property subsidiary boards. Would you please wave when I call your names? Brian Wade, Dean Matthews is president, Kathy Jaffe, Mike Schmidt, Bob Schubert, Nikki Smith-Hignon. Let's thank all of the Brian Wade board members. For OSC Property Subsidiary Board, we thank President Rich Fredrickson, Jerry Anderson, Lori Eberhard Flood, Greg Enos, Terry Hobbs, and Kathy Radel. Also, we thank Glenda Owens for her work as property manager of both subsidiaries. The business portion of the meeting is now concluded. I will now invite Executive Director Liz Schultz to the front to introduce tonight's keynote speaker.
Thank you so much, Ken, and thank you to everyone who has volunteered their time to serve on the board and those subsidiary boards, and you'll get the full thank you later. It is my pleasure to introduce our guest presenter tonight. Christopher Gillcrist is Director Emeritus of the National Museum of the Great Lakes in Toledo, Ohio. He holds bachelor's and a master's degree in history from John Carroll University and is ABD in social policy at Case Western Reserve University. Chris served as the National Museum of the Great Lakes Executive Director from 1999 to 2023 and led the organization's growth from its original museum in Vermilion to its current location in Toledo. Prior to joining the Great Lakes Historical Society, he served as Executive Director of the Lake County Historical Society and began his career in higher education as an Associate Professor of History at Notre Dame College of Ohio and Instructor of History at Ursuline College. I know many of you in the audience are very interested in this program topic, and I know all of us are also interested in our economic, social, and environmental relationships to the Great Lakes, both in the past and in the present day. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Gillcrist. Thank you, Chris, for all that you are doing to preserve and to share these stories. I know you might have to leave a little early tonight, so I'm sorry if any of you were hoping to chat with him afterward, but just please note, again, National Museum of the Mary Worthington for the Community Awards.
Good evening. As chair of the governance committee for last evening, it's my honor to present these community awards. And it's quite a pleasure to see many previous award recipients in the audience. Will they please wave or stand and be recognized? Thank you. This year, we are once again hosting our full community award program, as we will every other year. And we're delighted to be celebrating 7 individuals and 1 organization. Please enjoy this video presentation of the award. After each segment, recipients are asked to come forward to receive their certificates and be photographed.
Oberlin Heritage Center Community Awards. The first award is for the Community Historian. The Community Historian Award honors an individual who adds to the knowledge of the history of our community through research, writing, and or educating others. We are delighted to recognize Reverend Dr. Albert G. Miller, or AG as many community members know him, with the Community Historian Award. Pastor Miller has done much to champion history and educate by connecting the past and the present. As Professor Emeritus of Religion and Africana Studies, pastor at Oberlin House of the Lord Fellowship, author, community volunteer, and so much more, his work preserving and sharing history, particularly as it relates to Black experiences in America, makes our community and many others better informed and more compassionate. Just a few of his contributions to local history include participating in the Dialogue on Race and Faith Project and Awakening to Justice book and documentary, participating in the Height of All documentary, sharing his family history in multiple public presentations, and recently honoring the legacy of Oberlin College's first Black graduate, George Jackson. Thank you for making sure that these histories are still part of today's conversations and teachings, Dr. Miller.
I want to couch my thank you remarks in the spirit of Carter Jacobson, the founder of Negro History Week. As he responded to his white Harvard PhD professor, who stated that the Negro had no history, Woodson challenged the professor directly by saying, "No people lack a history." Like Woodson, I also believe that all people have a history. My life has been dedicated to helping people connect to their ancestors and history. I'm humbled to be picked to receive this award as community historian. My awakening to the power of history goes back to the fall of 1970, in my freshman year at the University of Missouri, when I took an American history class with Dr. Arnold Strickland, the first tenured Black professor at the University of Missouri. He picked me among several other Black students to perform dramatic readings and excerpts from historic African Americans for Black History Month. Dr. Strickland introduced us to the writings of Dr. Margaret Burroughs and her poem, "What Do I Tell My Children Who Are Black?" Reflections of an African American woman, and other writers and activists from African American history. The first stanza reads, "What shall I tell my children who are black, or what it means to be captive in this dark skin? What shall I tell my dear ones, fruit of my womb, of how beautiful they are, when everywhere they turn, they're faced with abhorrence of everything that is black." History is for all people, and all people, in my opinion, need to know their history. They should want to pursue it, even with all the wonderful gifts and potential curses that can emerge from opening Pandora's box. I've tried to be a historian that communicates in a way that my grandparents and ancestors would understand and appreciate. I want to thank the Oberlin Heritage Center, its board and staff for selecting me for this honor. I want to thank my family, especially the love of my life, Brenda, and our 4 wonderful children and their families, who have put up with my musings about history. I want to thank my church, who have supported my teaching and research. I want to also thank this community, especially the African American community, who have taken us in and accepted us as family. Thanks also goes to Oberlin College, especially the Religion and African Studies departments, for supporting my activism and service in this wonderful community called Oberlin. In closing, I offer this first stanza of a meditation written by my wife, Brenda, for Black History Month. And the first stanza goes, his story, her story, their story, our story. All contribute to history. History is not accurate or complete without all stories. Thank you, and blessings to you all.
Congratulations, and thank you so much, Reverend Dr. A.G. Miller.
The Heritage Guardian Award honors an individual or group dedicated to the ideals of conservation and preservation who serves our community as a leader in preserving history, historical records, or historic buildings. We are happy to honor the Friends of Westwood Cemetery with this award. While members had various interests and reasons for forming a new nonprofit just over a decade ago, there was shared concern for the preservation of the monuments, burials, and legacies contained within the cemetery, as well as an interest in continuing to foster a welcoming and pleasing ambience in the park-like space for all to enjoy. In addition to sponsoring new section markers, dog watering bowls, and the lovely tranquility and memorial gardens, the Friends of Westwood Cemetery have cleaned monuments in 9 sections for about half of the cemetery. Volunteers learn best practices for gentle cleaning methods that extend the life of a monument, and all are invited to help. Friends, thank you for advocating for and championing the care and preservation of this massive city landmark, but also for drawing caring individuals from various parts of the community and beyond to work together in a common cause.
I just wanted to start off by thanking the Oberlin Heritage Center for this Heritage Guardian Award. We're very pleased to accept. And I also wanted to go over the history of Friends of Westwood Cemetery. In 2014, I was on the Juneteenth committee, and we were doing a program to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Westwood Cemetery. Someone on the committee suggested that I put out a sign-up sheet to start a Friends organization because people were grumbling about the condition of the cemetery. There have been articles written in newspapers about the condition of the cemetery, and people signed up. A lot of those people that signed up are still with us to this day. We just celebrated our 10th anniversary last year, and I'm proud to say that we have a very wonderful board. Some people have dropped off, but the main core of people that signed up 10 years ago are still with us. And we've done some incredible improvements as far as we're concerned, and Robin's going to talk about those wonderful improvements.
We have worked well with the city of Oberlin in encouraging improvements at the cemetery and upgrades, beginning with new sign markers for the cemetery sections and for new trash receptacles, including recycling. We have installed 2 new gardens through our planning, our design, and FOWC paying for the gardens. a memorial garden at the front entrance of the cemetery in the Artist Vonsky House, and a tranquility garden a bit further back off the main road of the cemetery. We encourage the city of Oberlin to upgrade its database concerning city records, which has been completed. They like that idea, and it's much easier now to find grave sites via the computer, and lots that are still for sale. We pushed hard and worked with the city, encouraging them to follow through with the rehabilitation of the Zavadsky House at the front of the cemetery, which was completed about 3 years ago. This has made a space for small meetings where the FOWC board meets monthly, some small gatherings, and a step-off place for Emeritus tours even. We have a long-standing gravestone cleaning project, which is ongoing each year on the first Saturday of the month from May through October. We buy the supplies needed, and volunteers supply the work. And over half of the cemetery's gravestones have now been cleaned, making a huge difference in the appearance of the cemetery and the readability of all of the shoulder stones. And our membership has grown to probably about 120 members. We have a few lifetime members, and it continues to grow. And also, can we talk about the pond? We just found out yesterday. Stay tuned for a major project with the pond, which is on the back side of the cemetery. And there will be some construction starting there. The plan is, thanks to Jason Keltner, who's the supervisor at the cemetery, to refurbish the pond and make it a much more beautiful spot. That's some preview of ongoing works that we encourage and will be involved with at the cemetery. We certainly thank the City of Oberlin for their help and cooperation on all of our projects.
Westwood Cemetery would like to come up, or I could come to you. Excellent. And I do thank you. I walk in Westwood Cemetery all the time, and it is beautiful. Isn't it gorgeous? It's beautiful. Thank you. Lovely, Jen.
The Volunteer of the Year Award honors volunteers who make extraordinary contributions of time and talent to the Oberlin Heritage Center. It is our pleasure to recognize two individuals for commemoration tonight. Melanie Glover is an Oberlin College student who has been volunteering, not interning, at the Oberlin Heritage Center since the fall of 2022. Since then, she has worked on a variety of projects that have permanently augmented the holdings of the museum. She has scanned, labeled, rehoused, and cataloged over 450 images for the museum, including items related to the Oberlin City Schools from the 1930s to the 1950s, as well as Oberlin School Band scrapbooks. She has also contributed to the Oberlin Historic Building Inventory and a growing archive about Oberlin African American businesses. We are wishing her all the best on her graduation this year.
Hi, my name is Melanie Glover. I'm a senior at Oberlin College, and I've been volunteering with the Heritage Center since my sophomore year. I've done a lot of work in a lot of different departments, mostly in collections, and it's been a great opportunity for me to learn about how museums function and the kinds of work that they do in public history. I'd like to thank the board for this award and everyone who has been so helpful over my time here.
Elena Glover, such a body of work. Thank you so much. Very much in awe of everything you've gotten done.
Gillcrist, whether it's through her family roots growing up in Oberlin, her time as an educator at Oberlin High School, her articles in the paper, her involvement in her church and area theater productions, or her writing the book, Music Moved Us, the amazing story of the Oberlin High School Billingsley Bands. But some of you might also know her as your tour guide, or through her portrayals of her aunt Helen Worsky-Spirit, or Josephine Martin Bailey, or most recently Fanny Jewett. She also researched and created a new small downtown big stories walking tour for the Oberlin Heritage Center. Pat, thank you for sharing your enthusiasm for Oberlin history and for bringing it to life for hundreds of community members and visitors. Your talents are recognized and appreciated.
I'm Pat Gillcrist, and I figure I'm among the luckiest people in the world because I was both born and raised right here in Oberlin, Ohio. What a magical place to grow up in the 50s and the 60s in so many different ways. And on top of that, I finished the last 13 years of my teaching career right at my own alma mater, Oberlin High School, where I got to know and work with and enjoy so many young people who also grew up right here in Oberlin, who share my opinion that it's a pretty cool place to grow up. Matter of fact, if I ever had any discipline problems, pretty much all I'd have to say is, you know, I went to school with your mother. But despite growing up here and teaching at Oberlin High School, there's so much, it turns out, that I didn't know about my beloved hometown. One day I came and took a tour here at the Heritage Center, and suddenly I learned why it's called Tappan Square and why it's Shepherd Circle and Stewart Court. And I thought, I've got to learn more. I really need to become a docent. And that's exactly what I did. Now I'm involved with 4 different tours. I do the Oberlin Origins tour at the Monroe House and the Little Red Schoolhouse. Most recently, I became Fanny Jewett, a live character once a month at the Jewett House tour. And I lead the architecture tour, which is very popular. It goes around Tappan Square, and I have stories about all of those beautiful buildings. And you shouldn't really have a favorite, but my real favorite is the one that I researched and wrote myself about downtown Oberlin. Small downtown, big stories. You see, as a teenager, I worked downtown for 10 years, from age 12 to age 22 at Sperry Gorski, since, like, I'm a Gorski. And so I've always felt very close to downtown. I would love to take you on any of those 4 tours anytime. I want to share those stories that I learned. I'm so humbled and grateful to receive this award. It's certainly nothing that I expected. But you know, the real reward is being able to share these stories about the town that we all love so much. So please, come and join us on a tour or 2 or 4. Thanks again.
The Community Educator Award honors those whose efforts reflect the mission of the Oberlin Heritage Center to make our community a better place to live, learn, work, and visit. Tonight we honor 3 individuals. Oberlin High School language arts teacher Jessica Reese and OHS graduate Johnny Cole were nominated for their creation of the Oberlin High School Men's Work Project, which is now in its 2nd year. Young men can choose to participate in this program and meet every 2 weeks to discuss such topics as gender identity, emotional well-being, media literacy, healthy relationships, leadership, and personal growth. As a community member, Barb Brown wrote in her nomination, we often discuss ideas for how we could mold youth in becoming better citizens, more caring teens, perhaps more enlightened about the world around them. But seldom does anyone take it to the next step of leading, modeling, and educating our young people. Mr. Reese and Mr. Cole not just talked about how to help, but actually done the next step, put in the work, and provided an opportunity to inspire the young men. Thank you for creating this opportunity and for all the time and energy you give of yourselves to be considerate, respectful, motivational role models for the young men who commit to this program.
Hello, Oberlin Heritage Center. My name is Johnny Cole. I'm David Reese. It is an absolute honor to be nominated for the Oberlin Heritage Center's Community Educator of the Year Award, along with our wonderful, prestigious other nominees. Thank you so much to the Oberlin City Schools Endowment Fund for making Oberlin High School Network projects happen, for the school administration for supporting our work since day one, and all the other amazing teachers at Oberlin High School who are allowing their students to participate in our program.
The meetings that we have are usually every other week, and it takes some time out of other classrooms, so it means a lot that the teachers are willing to give up some of that time. It's definitely been worth it. And we also want to thank all the boys who have signed up to be a part of this for the last 2 years. It's been a very special journey, and it's also very important for me to thank Johnny Cole and the work that you have done for us to kind of be able to collaborate to kind of make this dream happen.
Thank you, David, for not just your mentorship and guidance over the course of my whole life, pretty much, but for your partnership in this endeavor, because right now, more than ever, we need to support mentorship programs for young men and for boys. Thank you all so much, and have a wonderful evening.
Amen. Thank you so much.
We are also pleased to be presenting a Community Educator Award to Nicholas Ruiz, who is a social studies teacher at Langston Middle School. We want to recognize his enthusiasm for Oberlin and United States history, and his methods for engaging students in research and learning. In 2020, he worked with fellow Langston language arts teacher Allison Smith to encourage students to write papers for the National History Day competition. Other lively projects include learning vocabulary through Wordle, guest speakers talking about running for public office, students creating their own Funko Pop style history figures, and student-created historical galleries. This year he worked with OHC Education Manager Amanda Manahan for his students to preview mini documentaries OHC is creating about social history topics. This feedback is critical to this project, and we hope the students likewise see their efforts being recognized in the history-making process. Thank you, Mr. Ruiz, for helping these students connect past to present through fun, active learning.
So I would like to thank the Oberlin Heritage Center for this awesome award. In our classroom, we always try and challenge students with history, to always look at history as something that needs to be challenged. And to be able to do that in this beautiful city of Oberlin is everything to me, because our city is so rich in history. And so to be able to really be able to teach social studies and history in Oberlin is everything to me. So again, I would just like to thank the Oberlin Heritage Center for this award, and just happy to be here at Oberlin.
We are happy to honor Larry Funk and North Shore companies with this award. Many community members mourn the loss of the clock that stood on the corner of Main and College Streets for over 40 years. We don't know if residents and students were running late for the past 7 years, but a festival crowd showed up on time for the dedication of a new old-style street clock on December 7th, 2024. Mr. Funk championed the purchasing and installation of the clock, with cooperation from the City of Oberlin. The clock is a wonderful blending of old and new, much like Oberlin itself. Larry, thank you for all that you do for the community and for helping make downtown Oberlin unique, lively, and welcoming.
Good evening, everyone. I'm truly honored to receive the Keep Oberlin Beautiful Award from Oberlin Heritage Center. Oberlin has always had a special place in my heart, and being part of preserving its charm and history is a privilege. When the original Seth Thomas clock was damaged and removed, I felt like we lost a piece of downtown Oberlin. The clock wasn't just a timekeeper, it was a symbol of our shared moments, a quiet presence connecting generations. I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to help bring that symbol back with the new clock from Electric Time. I want to thank the Oberlin Heritage Center for their dedication to preserving our town's history and everyone involved in making this project a reality. Seeing the clock standing once again, especially during Winterfest, reminds me how small contributions can help keep the spirit of a place alive. This award is truly humbling, but the real reward is seeing the clock back where it belongs, ticking away as a reminder of our past, present, and future. Thank you very much.
Okay, this concludes the presentation of the Community Awards. Let's congratulate all of the recipients again, please. Executive Director Liz Schultz and Board President Ken Grossi will close out the evening with some final thanks and the announcement of our raffle winner.
Good evening again. We have had a lot to celebrate tonight, so I will keep my comments short. As always, I want to send special thanks to the board and past board members, subsidiary board members, volunteers, students, collaborators, and donors who make this work enjoyable and possible. And I want to thank my hardworking colleagues, including, please wave wherever you are in the room, Bethany Hobbs, who probably helped check you in, all right. Amanda Manahan, Lauren McKee, Stephen Rice, Lucy Freeman, who's helping us out on Saturdays, Kaylin Sharp, and I'm going to sneak in front desk volunteer Angela Cecil on that list too. What an honor it is to work every day with people with the best intentions to work together and make an impact. Thank you. We're happy to celebrate strategic progress, including a new website, the start of migrating our collections to an online public database, new tours and programs, sustainability initiatives, and the ongoing care of our 4 historic buildings and constantly growing collections and archives. And just because I'm feeling selfish tonight, I'm going to go put the arrow over on that board, so feel free to pull out your noise papers again. Ohio Museum Professional of the Year there. So we'll get it up before the end of the night, though. We've reached that goal. So with all of that going on, all of our strategic progress, we also served over 5,600 people through tours and history walks, educational outreach, history programs and lectures, and community events. I don't know how much you've been following the national news, but there are very real attacks happening on museums, libraries, and histories. Please know that the OHC staff and board are committed to continuing to interpret the full diversity of Oberlin's history, the good and the ugly, and continuing to do our part to make our community a place where all can feel safe, valued, and have the potential to thrive. And that is only possible because we have support of people like you here tonight as well. So thank you all for celebrating with us here tonight and sharing in OHC's mission and work. It is now my pleasure to invite Board President Ken Grossi back for his final remarks.
And thank you, Liz, for all that you do as Executive Director. One more round of applause for you. Thank you for coming, and thanks to all the staff, board members, and volunteers who work hard to make the annual meeting a success. And thank you to the Hotel at Oberlin and their staff. Thanks to all of you who help OHC succeed and exceeds expectations throughout the year. We invite our Community Award recipients 2024 and 25 trustees to be out here in the lobby after this meeting for pictures. We look forward to seeing you throughout the year and at next year's annual meeting. The Oberlin Heritage Center 2025 annual meeting is now adjourned. And now let's hear who won the raffle. So the full pot tonight is $560, so the winner will get $280.
And for anyone who purchased theirs ahead of time, I wrote your names on the tickets. They are in here, I promise. All right, so it's going to be, you have to read it. So this is somebody who bought their ticket tonight. The number is 228734. Congratulations. Come see me after the event.
Thank you again for coming. Have a good evening.